went the last 5 streams, I think. Not using the right mic. I didn't double check after the first 4. Only did last night. Here's this. Got this. Yeah. So, what a day. What a day. I have a few things I'm going to talk about later my thread from earlier and what today has unfolded. I started off talking about one thing, just sharing my story, my breakup, and how that led into my music, that led into this transformation and how I'm here. But what is more important is I talk about the stream title. Schizophrenia, psychotic breaks, conspiracies, if they're real or not. I don't think they are. And the social decline of Gen Z. One inspired tweet today that I saw was this from Speaker John Nash. Just asking, how badly did the quarantine fuck up the social skills of Gen Z? And someone put it better than I could. That there's nothing like it. Combined with insane internet video game use and the disembodied avatars and the constant commodification of culture, the weaponized attention algorithms and the social engineering, all happening at the cusp of one of the greatest culture wars, as well as literal wars that seem to threaten our lives. Even though they're over there, it's like, well, we have nuclear capabilities and we have all these other things, and things are kind of weird. And individuals have been having psychotic breaks, well, forever, but I don't have the statistics, it just seems like way more frequently, and it's only getting worse. And it feels like we're about to have one collective psychotic break. It is not okay. But I think it will be okay. It's just currently not okay. There is this tweet, someone I respect very much, and I love this in most circumstances. I will read it, but I think it's different here in this specific case now. I've been working through it. Where she said, I don't know who needs to hear this, but it is not your job to teach lessons to someone you are walking away from. You walking away is the lesson. Now, that makes a lot of sense when I discovered today there's a few people who we used to be mutual followers of each other, and they've since unfollowed me, and it makes sense. The last couple of weeks, I've just been going. I'm the type of person that burns fast and then asks for understanding and forgiveness later. Maybe I should chill with that, but I also have a tweet I said earlier where I was like, hey, be cringe in public, it's good for your soul. Yeah, it's a little cringe. Yeah, I might have, freaked some people out. Like, is this guy crazy? Does he have cult leader-like ambitions? Is he having a schizophrenic psychotic break? I will be completely 100% transparent, like I have committed to the last couple weeks and for the rest of my life. I am okay divulging every single detail of my life, not to try to gain the trust of you. I'm not going to be able to convince you of anything. Not trying to get your trust, and believe me, there's no savior complex here. There was. There is not. There's no God complex here. There was. There is not. There's no delusion. It's just seems pretty crazy because I've spent my entire life thinking about virtually everything except horror movies. Because, why would you want to just put that imagery in your head and have that affect your dreams and your day-to-day life? That's silly, but to each their own. Whatever. I think about everything. Not everything, but most things. I have an insatiable desire for knowledge and wisdom, and that can be a very dangerous, bad thing, and I will explain what I mean by that. Can I do that? Boop, there, close the sidebar. And again, I love the people in this part of Twitter. They seem to tweet things as I'm already thinking about them. It is incredible. And fellow Visa Khan said today, the most sick, overpowered skill I unlocked in my 30s, that would have been incomprehensible God mode to my teen and early 20 selves, is that I've learned how to enjoy being misunderstood. Today and the last couple weeks has been a lot of that. It's not a purely technical skill. It requires drawing from reservoirs of love and understanding. But once you've had that, I think you can lose it and start over without it, like New Game Plus. And it's not as bad. That part, whatever. It's point is, it's not a purely technical skill. It requires drawing from reservoirs of love and understanding, which take time to cultivate. It takes other people, it takes collaboration, it takes mirroring each other and intimate understanding. Suspending judgment and just asking, why is it you think the way you do? Why do you feel the way you do? Yeah, it's hard. It's you know, it takes a lot more time than just shoving a pill down your throat. But it is better in the long run. And I will stand by that. But hear me out, there's a lot of nuance, there's a lot of stuff like that. Being misunderstood used to feel annihilating, like a destruction or negation of my being. Now it feels like a little spicy dramatic tension, like a jazz note, a precursor to resolution. That is a brilliant way to explain how I felt. And so today, okay, I lost my cool a little bit. But if you knew the context of who I was replying to, I said, okay, old man, you don't know our, 4-year sort of friendship or, knowing each other? He's got that old man grumpy kind of thing, but it's not a slight on him. He's an ex-Marine. He loves football. He doesn't understand my generation and Gen Z, how we're growing up with smartphones and the internet in our hands way too early, and parents that don't know how to parent us, school systems that are confused, and then all this other chaos that's going on. I understand he doesn't see that. I should have been a little more patient with that, but at the same time, I'm glad everything happened today, as it did, because it brought me here, where I realized I need to prioritize this. Talking about what I've been through, deep mental, spiritual depths, and I've been attempting to write about it through some of my tweets, just riffing. I wake up in the morning, I do my little thing, and then I just start writing. There's talking about right here, probably my most engaged tweet down here, where I said, nope, it wasn't this one. So I tried, no, here. So, thinking you are God. It's a bad thing. Multimedia. I think it's important that I take this 30 seconds to find it. Whoa. I can't find it. Okay, I guess I don't need to talk about it there. The point is, I'm very misunderstood because I express myself in very chaotic ways. I want to bring it to here and talk about my personal lived experience before I start talking more about the geopolitical things. So, I wrote this after taking a dog walk right before throwing up the stream. I am deeply moved by many things plaguing humanity at the moment. I was told not to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders or try to do and think about everything, and that does sound like good advice for most people. Hearing that advice, it made me go yeah, I shouldn't, because that's too much. That's too much for one person to think about. But trust me, I'm good. I'm 29. I've been doing this full time, exploring my mind, exploring ideas, challenging my perceptions, my perspectives, getting advice from hundreds and hundreds of people, online, in person, in various contexts, whether spiritual, at different businesses, all sorts of things, just to make sure that I had my head screwed on right. This is what I'm meant to do. I cannot convince you, I will show you. I will ask you to suspend judgment of me and actually hear me out. I do not think I'm perfect. Nope. I'm not God. I have no God complex, no Savior complex. I don't. I'm just me, just Bruce, Dean Robinson, who has gone through the ringer on a number of things many times, and it is only by the grace of God and the memories of the people I know who have taken their own lives that I am still here. That I did not kill myself too. That under such mental and spiritual duress, I somehow found the right bit of info at the right time, or got help from other people, or immersed myself in some grounding technique like meditation or martial arts. that I determined to believe that conspiracies to dominate our lives were not real, and that everyone is just trying to do good, but through decades of good intentions, we've arrived here, at a collective psychotic breaking point. Recently, I've been getting ahead of myself, speaking on my views on geopolitics and other abstract ideas, while also displaying I'm just a dude who likes to have fun, rapping, and being silly. Recalling a mentor's personal advice to me 2 years ago, it seems that I am missing some intermediate steps. Yes, I was, and I still have been. So let me bring it to my personal story first. And that because I survived what have claimed the lives of so many and continues to afflict countless others, a whole generation that have grown up disconnected from reality, I should probably prioritize this first in my speech giving. Perhaps by the summer we can start to have more productive geopolitical conversations, discussions. I'm not trying to rush it. Trust the timing. I'll also be building my several projects in the meantime. So it's not just like, hey, I have these ideas. Hey, listen to me. It's like, I do, but I'm building. I'm going to prove that I have my head screwed on right. And again, I did not. There have been many times I have not. I have had delusions. I have thought the government is watching me. Things that have genuinely claimed the lives of some people, including, just last month, a fellow in Northern Virginia. So sad. This James Wu, 56. They were investigating concerning posts he made on social media.
Huge explosion leveled a home
And,
in Arlington.
alright, I'm not going to play it. It was ridiculous. And it's because he was paranoid about his neighbors. He thought the government was watching him and all of these sorts of things. This has happened so many times. It was just shared to me today by some friends that they knew, as two individuals who knew two separate people who killed themselves as they were genuinely terrified that the government was watching them, that they were on to secret knowledge that they shouldn't have, and they just didn't have the help to understand that that's not the case. In one case, it seemed like he was reaching out for voice calls and no one would get on a call with him because they were terrified of the things he was saying, and they didn't want to entertain in his delusions. You know, I'm not going to judge them and say they made the wrong decision, but how about we have a little more compassion and understanding for people who are going through things like this, so they're home, so they don't literally.
You can see had started
All right, they're not going to show it. I don't even really want to show it either. It's kind of weird. These things are happening, and Gen Z here. I'll bring it back to the screenshot. It wasn't only quarantine. It's been throwing smartphones in the hands of children at 5 years old, 4 years old, without good parental supervision as well. That's key. Like, the quarantine has fucked up the social skills of Gen Z. Quarantine plus video games plus porn plus drugs. You know, this is legalization. We can talk about, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it, but when you're adding that on top of this bonfire without good thought leaders helping direct and like know how to integrate these things with context and such, we're making the problem worse. Because they're, you know, oh, we can say you must be 21 years old to go and purchase weed. People are smoking it at 13, at 12, at 11. It's because it's cool, bro. Yeah, school sucks. I didn't want to be in school. If I had access to weed back then, I might have done it. Actually, back then I was kind of weird and straight edge about it. My friends were drinking alcohol 16, 17, and I chose not to. Finally did in college, but way too early to be doing that when you add smartphones and the internet and all these other things. It is just bad. And then you add the quarantine that took them away from school, took them away from each other, instilled a fear, an inherent fear that other people around you are dangerous and could kill you. What? That's not good long term, and we need to address this. I'm not saying I'm the one to address it. I want to help stir this conversation, and I know there's people out there on Twitter, off Twitter, on other platforms, genuinely doing the great work. I even think of Healthy Gamer back in the last decade on Twitch. He, psychiatrist maybe, a psychologist, someone who was a doctor who's qualified to, as a therapist. He went on Twitch and tried to reach out to gamers who have been, were struggling with depression, anxiety, feelings of aimlessness, and these sorts of things. And I was very inspired by that. I didn't want to be like, ooh, I want to do that. I want to go and help and save people, because I already stated in a Twitter thread last week, those kinds of thoughts are pretty dangerous. To think either one, you are God, because what you've experienced was so profound and no one else can relate to you, so you feel like God and that we live in a matrix and a simulation. And two, that God needs you to go and heal people. The reason I say that is it's pretty evident that God, if you just trust that at the right timing, God will place certain ideas, art, people in the lives of people as they need it on their journey, then that means you don't have to go out of your way to try to save people. I think you should express your thoughts and put your art out there and let it find others. Especially now more than ever with algorithms. Algorithms can be beneficial. They can also be very destructive if they're weaponized for attention. Especially in the news. What do we see more in the news than anything else? Fear, war, and it's because it's emotional. It emotionally drives us. Not me. I used to be. That's the point. Not superior. I understand. I've learned. It drives engagement. And when you drive engagement, you have more views. And when you show ads and you show your advertisers, hey, we're getting a lot more engagement when we show local shootings at 6:30 in the morning, then they're incentivized to keep doing that. Instead of, hey, good morning, here's some good news. Let's start your day off well. The amount of times I walk downstairs and my parents are watching news about, oh, the murder last night. And yes, it's good to be informed, but first thing in the morning, really? So, let's get back to this. Topics. And these are thick. I'm not going to cover all my thoughts in this video. There's no way. Schizophrenia and psychotic breaks. Delusions of grandeur. Paranoia that the government is watching. Gen Z's social skills and not receiving the help they need. Extreme countermeasures that are being taken by institutions and influencers. And what is really the truth here? Schizophrenia is very complex, and I'm now beginning to study it through the Western materialist paradigm, through textbooks and such, where schizophrenia outright is considered a bad thing that needs to be suppressed. Yes, mental deviations, especially when they're aligned with conspiracies and these sorts of delusions and psychosis, they're not good. But instead of just shoving pills down your throat, how about we try to work through it? And I know it takes way more time. It takes people who are empathetic and actually understand what the person has gone through. If you have never experienced schizophrenia, I don't know if however many books and textbooks you read could ever get you to understand what it's like to have that. To actually think, the government has tapped everything. They know what I know. They're gonna come and get me. They're only gonna come and do that if you're like actually displaying signs of like Unabomber type tendencies or like treason, which I have none. I have no imperial ambition. I do not want power. I don't want fame. It'd be fantastic if I didn't. So I could just keep on building what I want. However, like I said in the beginning, I am way too driven by the memories of the people I know who have taken their lives because of this. And me almost killing myself multiple times because of this. It is scary. It is crazy. What is happening in the world? Who can I look to that has their head screwed on right? There are a few, but even then, you're like, well, they have hundreds of millions of viewers. Like, are they actually, like, the Fed? Are they a psyop? Are they controlled opposition? And it keeps spiraling from there. And I don't know how to reach each and every single person with a silver bullet. There is none. Except questioning and compassion. Questions and compassion are going to get us to see eye to eye and bring each other back from extreme measures. I have real lived experience with it. I have nearly took my life multiple times in absolute fear or self-doubt. I am not stating I know what schizophrenia is through and through. I can only talk about my experience and those of many I've personally encountered. I will say, unfortunately controversial to some, and I hope you suspend judgment and allow this conversation to unfold over many hours and days and months, that I choose to frame reality in such a way that nearly all mental problems are solvable through holistic means. Perhaps pharmaceuticals are legitimate measures, but so is supervised psychedelic therapy and Buddhism and other methods. These are not so profitable, so there's very little incentive to push these. But I think we're entering a new age where people value social good more than financial return. I think if we can stop trying to think that if you put money into something, you should get money out. What if you put money into something, you invest in people with good ideas, or you invest in psychedelic therapy centers and these sorts of things? And not even, psychedelic, even like, ketamine is being used, ketamine clinics. I don't know anything about that. It seems to be effective. You're going to get healthier humans out of that, which then they can contribute to society and like help stimulate the economy. But not only their positive contributions helps economy, but they're not actively harming the society either. So it's it's like 2x. They stop being harmful and they become positive. Wow. We need more of that instead of demonizing these people as ill and there's something wrong with them. And for the people that are just tuning in, hello, thank you. I encourage you to watch the stream back from the beginning. I think I did a pretty good job at giving the context as to where I'm coming from, why I'm doing this. I don't have a savior complex, don't have a God complex. I don't think I have the solutions. What I do have is intellect, empathy, perception, and real lived experience, having gone through what some would call schizophrenia, what some would call psychotic breaks multiple times. What some, of believing, kind of being like, what's up with conspiracies? Why do things line up with prophecy so well? What is that all about? It's so weird, but I don't think things are as weird. I think there's just massive misunderstanding that, again, if you suspend judgment, and we have the long and difficult process of over days, weeks, months of having this dialogue, and I'm not the first one to be trying to do this and opening up space. This is me just kind of coming out from my own personal experience. Even just last week was like the final little bit of, this is not real. This is all delusion. Wow, there's so many people that think like this. I need to get over my own shit and try to help them. And then, boom, I had this explosion where I've just been writing thousands and thousands of words and appearing kind of chaotic and making people go, what's up with this guy? Is he having a psychotic break, schizophrenia? I've had some people unfollow me. Totally cool. I'll make it make sense later. I did get ahead of myself. I skipped some intermediate steps. I went straight to the geopolitical stuff. I have these ideas. Listen to me. Yeah. But, really, can we please talk about it? So I'm bringing it back here to my story. And I'll go through some tweets that I wrote today and through some DMs because this is very serious and near and dear to me. And I want to connect with other people and try to figure out how we can help this, help progress this issue. Wherever I riff from here and step through morning tweets and today's Discord DMs. And then later I'll end the stream and I'll do some other stuff. But I really need to stay focused on this, and I will be downloading it and uploading it to YouTube, other platforms. This is stream number 6. I plan on doing at least 100. I plan on never stopping. I have attempted so many times in the last decade. I first streamed in 2010, by the way. I was 15 years old. Before, there was Justin TV, there was Livestream, there was Xfire, there was ublog, I think. There was all these platforms, and I was streaming video games and these sorts of things. And I kept stopping myself. And back in 2014 with World of Warcraft, in 2016, 2017, 19, again last year. And I keep stopping myself because I keep doubting myself. And I also knew I had enough self-awareness to realize that, it wasn't the most coherent, salient thought. But like I wrote today, you gotta be cringe in public. It's good for your soul. Putting yourself out there courageously and then seeing how people respond to it, even if it's negative, allows you to have that perspective, that mirror to be like, oh, yeah, maybe I was a little crazy. Okay, I'll learn from that. But if you never share that, you may never get from that place. We are social creatures. We do kind of rely on each other as a mirror. We need the connection. We need the perspective. We don't know everything. And so me saying, can we please talk about it, is because I don't know everything, but I have the ability and the will, the drive, and apparently the purpose. I say purpose because, it's the perfect intersection of my skills, my talents, my, wanting to help people, and where I would really thrive. And I love this. I've been working, writing, speaking over 10 plus hours a day for the last 2 weeks at full energy capacity. Then took a nap. I take midday naps. A midday nap, 30 minutes. Anyway, point is, I can't convince you of anything. All I can do is tell absolutely everything I have ever experienced and all the thoughts that are in my head, not to get your trust, but to show that I'm worthy of it, because I have nothing to hide. I am open source. So anyway, stepping through my morning's tweets and today's Discord DMs, I apologize to whoever saw this and misunderstood me. Although it's not, again, not for me to try to convince you of anything. But I apologize specifically to the people in this Discord server when I kind of came at them and I'm like, hey, here I am. I finally have articulated, I think, I still need work on it. I've finally kind of articulated my story, where I've been, what my music was all about, and acknowledging my privilege. This is a major thing that I hope people did not look over. I acknowledge my privilege. I am extremely privileged, and it is this reason that oddly enough, caused a lot of my psychotic breaks and delusions. It made me feel unfair, straight up. And I know it's like, bro, get over yourself. No, listen, we all have our own struggles. If you had something else in your childhood, that was your struggle. For me, it was on the mental and spiritual plane. It was, why am I so gifted and privileged and I'm not doing anything with it? That it was like, I should probably be doing something with it. Like, I've been going back and forth in my life. Does God exist? Does not? Do we have a destiny or purpose? And then also separately from that, what gives me life? What gives me meaning? It's philosophy, and I never took a philosophy class. It's spirituality, which the spiritual path is extremely dangerous. And in the DM today, when people were concerned if I was having a psychotic break, I was able to link them to Daniel Ingram's Mastering the Core Teachings of the Buddha, where in Part 4, he talks about the sudden arising and passing away experience, which some New Agers are calling the Kundalini awakening, some are calling themselves star seeds, and these sorts of things, and I deeply understand what they mean by that. It is, as far as I can tell, just trying to put away the New Agey things and get to the core and the truth of the matter of it, there is something that happens sometimes to people where they have an awakening. Just suddenly everything they knew is shattered. Sometimes that's brought on by doing psychedelics. Other times it seems to come out of nowhere. Or it comes through very deep emotional pain. Very, very deep. And they keep diving and diving. And instead of letting it kill them, they survive through it. And I'll tell you from personal experience, it feels so good once you finally release your desire to be understood, your fear of death, your fear of being perceived. When you let go of that, it feels like you have become God. I don't know how else to put it. And that's what leads into a lot of God complexes and savior complexes. So much so, here, I'll even bring it up. Arising and passing away. He even stated, I think very clearly, like, this is why evangelicals, yes, This stage tends to give people more of an extroverted, zealous, or visionary quality, and they may have all manner of energy to pour into idealistic, grandiose, or ambitious projects and schemes. If you see what I've been posting recently, oh, it's like, oh yeah, that's you, bro. Get it. I've worked through this a couple times. I got it. Not for me to convince you. But it is one of the most evangelism prone of the stages. Ever talk to a hyper-excited Christian who just had their conversion experience, saw the light, and is now passing out pamphlets for Jesus and telling everyone to get saved? That reminds me, back in 6th grade, young little me, it felt so good, I wanted to get involved. I wanted to start a little Christian group it was 5th grade, at my elementary school in 5th grade. I found Jesus, it felt so good. And then after 7th, 8th grade, things got weird and I fell away from my faith. And now here I am in the last 2 years finding it again, but realizing that maybe the idols of the religion are misguided. Jesus himself said the kingdom is within, and to not make a religion out of him. What did Rome do? Make a religion. And it made sense at the time. As they were conquering these territories and trying to integrate these barbaric tribes, they figured that religion, that ideology, would help integrate them. And in some cases, they borrowed from these pagan traditions. It seems like to me that they determined that Christmas is going to be Jesus' birthday as they adopted pagan traditions regarding the winter solstice and these sorts of things, some Egyptian influence, some Judaic influence. And so to fast forward, we're here again where we've made religions with idols when the kingdom of God is within. And we can talk about that in another stream. I'm not trying to go there. I'm not trying to preach. Point is, it is so powerful when you have this religious conversion. At the far extreme of what can happen, this stage can imbue us with powerful charisma of the radical and magnetic religious leader. Now, especially as a Sagittarius, and you can choose to not believe in astrology, that's fine. It's very evident if you have a curious mind, but I'm not trying to preach that. As a Sagittarius, and especially with my configuration, I am very prone to becoming an accidental cult leader. I detest that idea, and a lot of my self-censorship and suppression over the last few years has been out of a little glimpses of awareness that like, whoa, am I like becoming a cult leader? Am I like starting a cult? This thing was Starscape. It was pointed out to me. It's like, yeah, that sounds like a cult. And I went, wow, how do I make it not sound like a cult, but like it isn't a cult? So what about my messaging is coming across that it is? That's another stream we can talk about. Point is, it's pretty, like this arising and passing away experience, the A&P, there's a warning involved with this. This is what creates evangelicals. The experience is so profound, but they stop there. They don't keep going. You have to keep going. You cannot maintain this heady high. And I'll tell you from experience, once you've experienced that and it starts to come down, it feels like you had the mandate of heaven and now it's lost. And now you feel wretched. And Visa, here, I'll even pull this up because, and I'm not like dick riding him. He just is so salient on so many things. What was I saying? Evangelical. Yeah, point is, I don't even need to bring it up. These experiences are so profound. Ah, yes, mandate of heaven. Using God or some higher power to explain or justify your successes is one of the most powerful status moves available to people. I read this last year and I went, whoa, hold on, I don't want power. Holy crap, what's up? It kind of makes me sick to think about how powerful it is and how susceptible people are to it. One of the most extreme forms of this is the Genghis. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. But there are lesser forms of this that are in the same spirit that don't require malicious action. I am favored by God, hence I am so beloved, so strong, so healthy, so cheerful and joyous in disposition, etc. You can imply this strongly without saying it directly. Of course, this move works up until the point it doesn't, when the mandate of heaven is taken from you, and now you are wretched and forsaken. Best not to mess with it in the first place, in my opinion. I bookmarked it. I'm the only one. I bookmarked it because I needed to come back to this, even though, hey, Elon, please give us searches of our bookmarks. Thank you. As well as our likes. If I could search the things I've liked and things that I've bookmarked, oh, that'd be good. And you're forcing my hand to make Canopy, and that's okay. It's not going to replace X. It's going to embed. Anyway. Mandate of Heaven. Schizophrenia. Psychotic breaks. Delusions of grandeur. Savior complexes. Very complex topics. I am presenting to the audience. I have experienced these things. I can think very clearly and deeply about these things. I have empathized with a great number of people from all backgrounds about these things. Not bragging, just saying, hey, seems like I should probably do this. I don't want power, I don't want fame. What I want to do is help people. And in order to help people, I need to put myself out here. I need to be okay with being perceived. Being able to do this has been a cultivation. It has been, 18, 19 months now of me going from just being a developer behind a computer to, like, putting myself out there. I went to go work part-time at a restaurant. I went to go work a couple seasons at a Renaissance fair. I wanted to develop my skill of speech. I wanted to develop my sales skills. And I wanted to actually be grounded, understand how people are living their lives, how they view reality. I struck up conversations with most of my customers all the time. I'm deeply interested in these things. Not a savior complex. Alright, I'm going to stop saying that soon. So, I'll step through. Why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep doing that? Alright, give me a moment. I'm going to go back up into this. I would show the Discord DM, but like... Oh, no, I did it again. That's right. I need to go to my reposts. My quotes. Alright, again, I apologize for being a little catty, but you don't know our, like, relationship. When I said old man, it was just fun. This is great. So he said, what the fuck did you just link? I linked. Alright, now I'm getting... Right here. I wrote this morning. I didn't plan it. It just came out. And I was like, alright. In line with me being fully transparent as to who I am. And to explain the music and, like, kind of all the weird things I've been writing about recently. That I'm not just like this, hey, I'm a savior. I know how to, like, quell the geopolitical issues. Please talk to me. When I say, can we please talk about it? It is for my benefit to learn and get more perspective, which helps me write better, helps me be more articulate. It's January 11. I'm going to be doing this every single day for the rest of the year, and I will never stop. Whether we achieve world peace, never stop. Point is, I will talk about this. Well, talk about this. Be cringe in public. It's good for your soul. Right now, I'm learning and building in public. I'm not afraid, and I'm trying to encourage others not to be afraid either. That they are the worthy driving force behind their idea. But you should also be collaborative about it. We need each other. Don't try to be thinking that because you have the idea that God has given you this idea that you need to, like, keep it secret and private and cultivate it until it's ready to be shared with the world. I've tried that many times. Just build in public. It's going to be okay. And if this idea doesn't work out, it's going to lead to something better. Trust the process. Please. Point is, and this whole past 2 weeks has been me trusting the process, and look where I am now. I've now stepped down from, like, the geopolitical things, and, like, let's talk about this first. I have faced enough internal doubt and cyberbullying to be unfazed by confusion from friends who, like, thought they knew me, but my heart and my core have not changed. I've just finally unlocked this energy and passion. I am, just to take a step back, like, I'm not prideful, but I am kind of proud that I have managed to cultivate this, where I don't have speech impediments. I can look into the camera, even though it kind of seems silly. I'm looking at this little dot, and there's blue lines, and, like, whatever. But I'm imagining that there are people who are genuinely listening and compassionate and trying to understand where I'm coming from, and maybe want to help me talk about these things. And it's also on me to go out and find people who already are. There are probably other Twitter spaces happening and these sorts of things. I now realize as I'm beginning to strategize the year and the rest of my life, yeah, maybe I should do some things before others. And so, being misunderstood used to feel annihilating, like a destruction of my being, but now it feels like a little spicy dramatic tension, like a jazz note, like a precursor to resolution, which might be years away, and I understand that, and that's how I'm here showing up and building. Imagine if adults asked before assuming something, is this person having a psychotic break? Best judge him and not try to like ask him what's up. Yeah, that's not the solution. And if my mutuals cared about each other to seek understanding, now I'm not mad that some people have unfollowed me. It's okay. They'll understand later or they won't. Whatever. I know who I am. I'm completely clear with myself. And yeah, a lot of my tweets do come across as cult leadery. I've been quote tweeting someone who's like kind of a literal cult leader. I probably shouldn't have done that, but he says some pretty good things. He says, why would you believe in anything that strips you away from your power? Why would you do that? Until death, the only defeat is psychological. The only defeat is psychological. You have to cultivate pronoia to combat paranoia. Pronoia is the idea that the universe is conspiring for you. It's trying to help you. And on that, this isn't just like some weird random thing that's come out of nowhere. This is two incredible thinkers. Someone in history, W.H. Murray, where he said, when you commit yourself, it seems that providence moves too. And I speak from experience, starting from November 2021, when I discovered these two quotes, my life changed when I fully yeeted myself into this. This that you're seeing here. This with all my crazy plans. My plans of 7+ businesses, my music and art, how I want to express myself, how I want to address these topics, and more. I finally realized after years and years of saying, no, I'm not a genius. No, I'm not this. Like, I don't know how you see this in me. And also not wanting to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, because that just doesn't sound like a good idea and healthy for anyone. But now I got a strong back. Anyway, point is, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And I've said this, I think, on every stream thus far. Never tell anyone that they can't do everything that they want to. Let them discover for themselves that they can't, if that's the case. But maybe they can. And maybe we need to give people a little bit more mentorship and support and compassion. Imagine how many Einsteins exist, for example, in some village in Africa or India. They're just there, because of their situation. They're never going to grow into that. And so I am inspired to give people equal opportunity, not equal outcome, not equity, equal opportunity so that we can actually get the right people the help that they need so that they can do their great work. Not great work, but like they can do their passion, which is going to help humanity. I think fundamentally, and I said this also on the other streams, consistently for thousands of years, although I'm viewing it from like a Western hegemony kind of worldview, we've always had a problem of not trusting the next generation, of not trusting our children. Yeah, just not trusting them. They come into this world with no judgments, no frames, no biases initially. They can see things we don't. And we're seeing today, teenagers and even children younger than that are coming up with brilliant solutions. Whether it's to combat the plastic in the ocean, the oil spills, how to restore the coral reefs, please save the reefs, and all sorts of things. But we have like a fear of the children, because what do they know, right? Imagine if adults could actually, like parents actually listen to their children, and the governments trusted the people. Imagine if we had a government for and by the people, but that's another conversation. And Terence McKenna, where it's like, once you commit, once you dream the impossible dream, the world will not grind you under, it'll lift you up. This is the trick. This is how magic is done, magic. By hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a featherbed. You have to hurl yourself into the abyss against the fear, and I'm not here to advise that specifically. I don't know, whatever. Point is, we're going to move on from that. These quotes were amazing in 2021 to help me get to where I am. So, be cringe in public. It's good for your soul. Whether you are having psychotic delusions about conspiracies, you know, maybe someone reaches out to you and says, hey, I've been there, bro. It's okay. You want to chat? Have those conversations. And we need more people like that. And so, yeah, you know, this person, someone who, like, has a decent idea of who I am, but, like, was still hesitant. He was like, hey, you've certainly had a challenging and intense journey with lots of factors and dimensions to integrate. He hopes that you could see kind of concern here. I do hope that you deeply understand that the first step in being of service to the world is in being kind and compassionate to yourself. Thank you. I had to learn that over the last couple of years. And what you're seeing now is integration. I'm over myself. I'm integrated, unafraid of death, unafraid of anything happening to me. You know, I believe everything works out perfectly in my favor. I hope so, at least. I'm here with pure intentions, a pure heart, just trying to do the right thing. You know, I thought, like, my Bodhisattva vow would be lower key, but it seems like I'm made for this. I mean, if you can't tell by this stream, you want to have a conversation? But I'm not trying to prove anything. It's just like, I know what you're seeing might be kind of weird. It's weird to me too. Maybe I'm not completely integrated, because you can still hear, like, this doubt of, like, really? And yeah, he said he admires me for the person I'm becoming and the work that I'm doing. And that was heart-melting. It was great. I'm so grateful for individuals like this. And so, just take it back. Oh yeah, this is the thing, you know, I quote tweeted a cult leader, whatever. And the way that I chat, it's, you know, the way that I tweet seems kind of cult leadery. But really, you need to be clear in yourself to survive the coming period of thought chaos. You need to know thyself. Things are only going to get crazier from here until they get better. You must become immune to propaganda. It is the utmost imperative to know yourself, your values, your dreams, and to believe. It takes courage to align. While we see what's happening in Israel and Palestine, we see what's happening with that list, we see what's happening with threats of assassination of a candidate in the United States, let alone what's happening in Pakistan and everywhere else in the world. You need to become immune to propaganda and choose to align with love and optimism and hope. And I'm not afraid to say these things because there's not a conspiracy to, like, stop people like me. You know, they took out certain people because of certain things. Bro, I'm just trying to help. I'm not trying to rally, protest, and march on the Capitol. Not trying to do any of that. Can we just talk about it? In conclusion, no, I won't read that. But this is the greatest war of our time for those afflicted with what some call delusions of grandeur. And it's maybe the most devastating form of schizophrenia that's underlying tyranny and savior complexes. The antidote is to surrender that you're just one of us. We're just children. When you get to it, we're just children. We still don't know anything that's going on. Like, what is going on? The world is absurd. And what feels really good is, like, making art, singing, going to music concerts, and these sorts of things. But then, yeah, we gotta get a job, and sure, we gotta be realistic, right? But I imagine a future where maybe things are a little more chill. And we don't need everyone working 30 plus hours a week. Especially now with emerging AI, if we have good thought leaders, good spiritual leaders that know how to integrate AI to help us, assist us, not replace us. They are going to replace truckers. It is inevitable. What we need to do is help truckers transition to technicians, for example. And so after delving through the deepest mental and spiritual depths, which I don't know how to explain the depth and quality without very abstract multimedia art, I conclude the biggest mistakes are thinking that you are God and that God needs you to go directly heal people for money. That includes individual spiritual influencers, and that includes religions and churches. Hey, I got someone who said it was spectacular. Thank you. Got some good feedback here. Got some good stuff. People are agreeing with this. Oh, and it's almost like I did this exact sort of thing, but you can go find that later. This was very important for me to write this morning, because I was like, oh, maybe, again, probably sound head ass. So let me make it clear. I acknowledge my extraordinary privileges. I was born a straight white male in America, in middle class, maybe lower middle class, doesn't matter. Middle class, not low class. I had very hardworking parents, though, that made that happen. And in around 2008, when things were a little tense, they ultimately decided not to divorce for my benefit. And now they're together in love, and it's beautiful. Everything happens for a reason, but you have to hope and maybe transcend your own ego and do things for other people, and then things work out better for you. I was born very intelligent. I was thrown into the gifted and talented, right? Gifted and talented and gifted, yeah, program. I was in Italy, but I was on a U.S. Army base. They had this thing. I tested into it, but an odd thing that actually made me feel bad. Because in the middle of the school day, I would be pulled out of the classroom to go to this other classroom to go learn more advanced things. PowerPoints and puzzles and all sorts of real cool math things. But it made me feel weird because I'd walk back into the classroom as the class was still going on, so I was othered. And that was the beginning of me suppressing my gifts. I know it sounds weird. That's what happens with children. We need to stop othering them. I'm very perceptive. I'm very empathetic. Now that I've lost weight and I've been doing the work, I'm attractive. Not bragging, just what's been told to me. What I see in myself, I only see because other people saw it in me and tried so hard to convince me, or tried so hard to get me to see what they saw. And the amount of times, I think the number one piece of advice I've ever received in my life was stop being hard on myself. And I can't explain to you what that's like and how to overcome it exactly, especially not now, getting a little tired. Probably need to take a little drink of water real quick. So, people have legitimate physical sexual abuse in their childhoods. They have war that devastate their lands. Whether Middle East, Ukraine, all around the world. You have gang violence in inner cities in America, with the cartels in Mexico and Afghanistan, all around the world. Things happening in China. Things are really weird. I refuse to believe that there is some grand conspiracy at play to dominate the world. I believe everyone's trying to do the right thing. You have to understand their frame. Sometimes their frame is the ends justify the means, which I think is pure devilry. We can get into that. So, I finally determined, and I did this a couple years ago, but it took some time to work this out. I'll use my privilege. And then I had to explain, what do I mean by that? Maybe I didn't have to. It was really good that I did. And to preface this, I reached out to this ex-girlfriend today, sent her this, and I actually sent her this so she could see this stuff. Actually, no, I didn't. I take it back. I should have. Now that I think about it. I sent her this. So she gets it, and she said, I love you. And then the little, hands thing. I've, kind of spoken to her off and on the past couple of years. No interest in getting back with her. My eyes are firmly set on one individual specifically. Or whatever happens, happens, right? Whatever happens. Anyway, to tell the story, I broke up with my girlfriend of almost 3 years, almost exactly 36 months ago, minus 10 days, because I was, and suspend your judgment, don't screenshot this, which this guy did. He's like, what the fuck did you just link? Boom. He took this out of... You broke up with your girlfriend because you were annoyed that homeless people exist? And I said, okay, screenshots out of things. You're no different than other people. I don't know who hurt you, but I love you. So let me tell you the story. I broke up with my girlfriend because... And I was drinking at the time. I had just watched my favorite movie, so it's wild that this just came out right after that. I was drinking, and it was one of the rare nights where she wasn't drinking. She just didn't feel like it. And... Because I had been holding on to this forever, plus wasting my life playing video games and doing stupid things and drinking excessively. I was so extremely annoyed at the state of homelessness and unjust suffering globally. Again, this weird, like, I gotta put the weight of the world on my shoulders that I then put off to the side the last couple of years, but now it's back. But it's back because my back is now strong enough to handle it. What I realized after some time, it was really a frustration with myself not utilizing my privileges to make real impact on the world. And I raged in front of her. Did not hurt her. She said even the next day she did not feel threatened, but what she saw was so wild. And because we already talked about not being really aligned long-term future, and because of all the other things that I was dealing with, and I was still overweight and these sorts of things, we decided to end it. I'm glad it happened, because now I am here. A year later, from that breakup, I wrote this. I had resolved to try to get this stuff out of me, and how it got out of me, maybe I should have gone to therapists, but I ended up creatively expressing. I ended up just writing out a number of songs over the last year. And also, whatever you feel is most you, if you feel it's weird, kill that voice right there. The cringe, the weird voice. Kill the part of you that cringes. Kill it. Your dream is on the other side. Now, I said this prematurely, but it's because I sort of had that evangelical, like, oh, I'm holy, because it felt so good to finally get this stuff off my chest that I had been suppressing. I also, in the middle of this, was reaching out to individuals. A former mentor of mine who saw a potential in me and tried to encourage me so much to, like, keep going on the path. He saw greatness in me. Then I kind of disappeared. I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry I disappointed you. This is where I've been working through some stuff. Sorry. I reached out to old friends that I didn't physically harm or sexually abuse, but there were just some, like, weird, awkward situations and misunderstandings, and I needed to clear them up. And all of them, there's a dozen, they all said, hey, bro, it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. Forgive you. Wow, that felt so empowering, and that led into some of these songs. Fantastic. I ended up taking a poem that I wrote in high school and, like, chopping it up into a trap beat because it was fun. I ended up taking a poem I wrote to someone to prom, and of course she did not like it. It is weird, it's complex, it's silly. I ended up trying to sing this over one of my favorite video game songs. And it was there, but my voice really needs work. But it was fun. And no one would understand. I couldn't really share it with anyone. People can kind of see the lyricism. Like, I will say, in, like, a good, proudful way, not overly proudful, my lyricism is incredible. But I'm hesitant to say it's mine, because these things literally just happen. And I know that sounds dissociative, but, like, when you're lost in the creative process, and if you refer to Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, he explains that, like, creativity is kind of like spiritual. There's, like, an idea that wants to come out, and it's every time you, like, try to, like, jump in and perfect it and hone it and change it and sculpt it and shape it and judge it, it stops, or it gets all distorted and tangled. So if you just let it flow through you, you'll be impressed with what happens. But I digress. That's not what this video is about. I talked about this song here. I would play it here. I'll do it. Not trying to promote my music. But again, this video is on schizophrenia, psychotic breaks, conspiracies, and Gen Z social decline. Schizophrenia and, like, conspiracies. It was like, hey, what's going on in the world? Why is the US dollar being printed to oblivion? Why is my government no longer for and by the people like it was established to be? What's happening globally? What's up with the big brother type of things over in that other country? And they're encroaching on the world, which I think positively, they're liberating some communities from US imperialism that hasn't worked for them in decades. But on the other hand, they're replacing it with the same kind of thing. What is going on? And so I had kind of a psychotic break. And, you know, maybe my social skills did decline. I didn't really know how to talk about it. I didn't feel comfortable talking to anyone about it. So I made music. I listened to music all my life. all genres. Not so much country, but a lot of rap, a lot of hip-hop, a lot of alternative stuff that most people haven't heard of. One of my biggest influences was Sadistic, and I thank him, retroactively, unknowingly. I took one of his songs, one of my favorite songs, and I just took the second half of it, and this came out. The act of creating this transformed my life. Here's a rough, unmastered draft. I think it's important for me to share, because sometimes people do things that seem weird, like create art that seems insane, and yet there's some beauty here. If you listen to the interline rhymes and the way that they play off each other, and you connect the things, there's some genius here. I'm not going to claim all the credit. I know that kind of sounds weird, but it was just like what came through me. Maybe I should claim the credit, because otherwise I might lose people. I said this is a capstone track to my upcoming album, Moraine. I said this 2 years ago. Is it still upcoming? Soon, TM. I created this out of raw emotion as a sort of therapy, with no intention to actually be a rapper or musician. After creating these songs, I began developing art and writing backstory, but here's where I messed up. I got sidetracked for numerous reasons. Self-criticism, lack of confidence, delusions of grandeur, perfectionism, fear of being perceived, fear of like finally putting myself out there because it feels worse than death to be seen for the way that I actually feel. Isn't that a trip? I see a future where that's not a thing anymore. I have spent the last 5 months to further understand myself and to heal. I said this upload is temporary. I have a full album release planned in the works. I finally just kind of like showed you. I went, yeah, here it all is. I can't profit from this song because I ripped the song from Kid Called Computer, the producer. Used by one of my favorite songs ever by Sadistic, titled Diva de los Muertos. I don't have any intention to profit much from my music anyway. Half of all proceeds of this album will go to reef and ocean conservation charities, namely Global Coalition. Yeah, I'm a little biased to them. I think they're doing amazing work. I want to support them deeply, and they seem to be struggling when I last looked, so they could really use some help. Anyway, this is me, again, leaning into being seen. I'm going to share you this that deeply helped me transform. Creativity, art expression is therapy. It's taken me 2 years to get my head screwed on since then. But you can kind of see my shadow. Here's my shadow. I kind of wanted to hide, but I kind of wanted to show myself. I'm wearing a shirt that it kind of has devilry imagery on it. Very dark. This screenshot from a video game, World of Warcraft. I ripped this logo, although I photoshopped it a bit to like remove some extra text and things. And this was my shadow you could see that wanted to be seen and heard and loved. This is kind of how you can solve schizophrenia without other means. But we'll talk about it.
Sir, I think you have a problem with your brain being missing.
And around here in the 25 to 35 second mark, you will hear text that is not displayed on here. It's kind of like a little prelude. I was struggling to see if I should put it in here or not, but anyway. I say, I feel like Medivh from World of Warcraft. I feel like Medivh in a scary way. Weight of the world on my shoulders. Mother's demon spawned in me. Or bipolar-esque emotional intensity. Just woke up from a coma, because having this awakening kind of felt like I was asleep for years, and I finally woke up. Barely tapped my potential, summoning the elementals. Fell, infused a golem when I'm mental. Here, and you know what? I'll show you a little example. There's a great movie, Warcraft, you can watch, but you don't have to watch the movie. It's like, I kind of felt like as he was entering the pool, it like started to felt like this. This is what delusions of grandeur feels like. This is what it's like, you know what, I can't take what's happening in the world. I'm going to step up and figure it out. I'm going to be a cult leader. But also Golem, he had a golem, so... there's no imagery of it. You can see it back here. He had a mud golem that then fell into the pit of Fel and yeah, became sentient and crazy. Anyway, that's a fun little scene. I'll play this. Oh, And I'll say this little clip here at 8 seconds. It's a little clip from the show Firefly, wherein Malcolm Reynolds, this white guy, kind of looks like me, and this black female character, who aren't romantic, although they have this kind of weird sexual tension. It felt like my girlfriend Raven and I, as we broke up. I said all these crazy things sometimes, and she was like, basically, sir, I think your brain is missing. And I'm like, come on, you need to understand where I'm coming from. And it's just taken me years to try to articulate that. And I'm not going to wrap it. I know.
Sir, I think you have a problem with your brain being missing.
Feel like Medivh in a scary way. Weight of the world on my shoulders. Mother's dreaming spawned in me. Just woke up from a coma. Barely tapped my potential son and me, elemental cell infusable and ornamental.
I'm not gonna tiptoe around your marriage or whatever it is you got going there. If you want to be with me, be with me.
Okay.
Too many guys think from a concept, or I complete them, or I'm gonna make them alive. I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind. Don't assign me yours.
Cagey in a cage, so the raven flew headstrong. Yet the heart torn to escape into a breakthrough. Modified into a mage, mind is arcane. Purified, burning sage, cleanse the pain. After you grew up in many homes alone, navigate the catacombs, put gunmetal to the dome. Barely made it out okay, weather, death, and decay. Church of Rome, raised and waste away within a day. A loom guides me now to a higher purpose. Untune a carol, wild mind, tales grow. Computer fables, protozoa. Save the reefs, please, dying in this climate. Hell, they stay for leaf. Trees burning for the clientele. The brimstone ocean swells. Plague there befalls us. All the beach sand dredge and a fruit supply kills us. Nobody wants to talk about it, so nobody talks about it. Why won't anybody talk about it?
Can we please talk about it?
All the pain, all the hate,
All the love, all the
grace, full of war, void of peace inside of me.
Transformed into a dragoon lab, it's in Phoenix. Got the spirit of a dragon and the heart of a phoenix.
Secret societies aren't conspiracies, just special clubs with hand signs, white gang signs, cycles of tyranny.
In perpetuity, from the Knights Templars to our Earth Czars. Driving me crazy, man, I'll never leave Karazhan. So, I don't know if anyone's just tuning in, whatever. It's going to be a nice little video showing you, allow people to express themselves like this. Started out as a manic joke, now where am I? Gambled with my life, I lost so much time. Poets play with words to keep themselves sane. Mine are intertwined to hide the pain. My get up and go, got up and went. Had to take things slow, I never got help. Always do the right thing, shout out Miss Joella. Trying to do the right thing and help my fellas. You know? That's what it's about. I'm stuck in the desert of doubt. I'm rapping with no clout. Struck by a blizzard, burnt out. My words will drench this drought. You can hear the little like savior complex there. I'm going to do it. But it's also my own drought that I was experiencing. I'm underground like Pharaoh Monchbud White. Y'all are under sand, Madulga, what an ugly sight. Deku spitting seeds at the Gibda blight. Simon says, get the fuck up, bait you with the bomb. I don't want to go Zinski if I don't have to. I'm trying to make a point. What a hassle to get up off your phones and breathe. Escape this consumptive castle. I want to talk. I'm disassociated. Where am I? My mind blind. Where in the hell the time flies? Sanity's in a spellbind. Quarantine from humankind. Society in decline from morals malaligned. It's only a dark matter of time. Who's next to disappear? In Ukraine with the Scythians. Civilization whirling a maelstrom to oblivion. There's a multiverse in my multi-books, a multi-curse. Hyperdimensionalized consciousness. Post-Euclidean. This is just me that I just needed to get my thoughts out. You know, I'm feeling ugly like the beast. I weave tweets beneath the sheets. In the arena, I'm sheep in the priest. Pop on my swifty, the troll's deceased. Deep in a fog, dream of mirage. Traveling like Robert Frost. Met with thunderous applause, the wiles of temptation. Succubus and demonstration. You have a shrink, I have a shaman. Purging the spirit of gone and cook an egg in my ramen. Bury me like Tutankhamun. I'm ripping fives or diatribes. Writing words or writing tides. I'm stacking sats upon the eyes, I circumscribe my own demise. Like Daedalus in his own labyrinth, I'm switching gods in this age of myth. From Gaia to Christ, Buddha to fifth, I'm blacking out straight down the path of the Sith. From father to son, Icarus. Approach life with fair confidence. If low the surges wet your plumes, if high, the sun will consume you. I got a dumb medal, bout to blow mental with this gun metal. Purple like a flower, purple like the flower, not dead, nettle bleeding heart rebel. Here's I get a little like aggressive and I start calling people out, but relax, understand where I'm coming from. I'm yelling, fuck yelling, printing more cash out the ass. What they smoking, puff and pass, inflating egos, fuck the mass. Bow to your masses or raise your fists. DYO or I plead the fifth. I was just high and drinking fifths, and trading fifths on the waves of Elliot. Fuck society, hacktivists, just chariot is delicate, I'll sacrifice like Lavitz. Transform and fly away. Learn the secrets of the gods. Ayahuasca meditate. Our lifestyles are at odds with the soul. Purpose is to learn. Lessons radiate. Help each other toward the goal. Learn to think critically. It's a hit. Super effective against the cabinet. Virus and numerous together we will handle it. Magic is a science we don't have yet. Byzantine generals can be conquered. Building towers like Hanoi. It is death before dishonor. With these hands we will destroy. With these hands we will rebuild a world that is fault tolerant and tolerate all but hate. No 1488, no FUD, but do not underestimate. Okay? Do not underestimate. Get left to dry. This one I was like being a little silly at the beginning. Get left to dry, I'm icy with the vine Drudu Valley. Out of place amongst these fakes while sin dye spreads Urbosa's dies. From Kuai to Sinai to Shanghai, I slay at another tally. Oh, actually, on this note, you really should see, when I first was beginning to get some confidence here in, in the things, I gave a little story of where I was kind of at, and this was me. I had a lot more weight on my face. I was beginning to feel kind of confident wearing cloaks and things. Here, let's watch this, because you can see, because I just republished it. This was in February 2022, and I wanted to give a little background, and I put this on Instagram, and I had a little fun making this in InShot.
Thanks for watching my stories and like caring somewhat about me. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I wanted to share with you something I've written. Over the last year, I've written close to a dozen songs or raps or let's call it fast spoken word, fast poetry. I don't know. I still need to record properly, find lockdown a vocal chain, get with like a real producer or something if I want to make this real. Right now, I'm fucking off ideas, and I'm pretty proud. Lyrical subject matter might not land with most of you, and that's okay. Beats made by my best friend Andrew online. And yeah, we're gonna put something together. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening.
I route this race, you're in last place, crypto's on a bullish rally. Pally, not Sally, wagon tail, no fool. Price, no price of freedom is hard work, sacrifice, diet, exercise. The earth's alive, but they mislead them through the rising tides. I lead streets, heathens, demons, exercise. Close hydraulic, front to back in this exhibit. Paint like Pollock, words symbolic, mine's chaotic. Prohibit my profits, parabolic. Hit the block like pow, Koopas knock down, printing cash like J. Pow, Goombas all around. The future's mouth, the time to act is now. World's been hijacked, they're playing it like blackjack. Hearts are coal black, pineal and plaque. I aim like Kairos and attack, claim hieroglyphics on the map. It's metaphysics, how I rap this. World's a spinal tap. Did you get all that? No, you probably didn't. So, you know, I'm just showing you. This is where all this stuff came from. I'm pretty happy that I'm finally giving some life to this. You know, I took a poem. I'm not going to do this, although it's pretty cool. Maybe the second half it's cool. So this was when I witnessed, I was in a car with my grandmother driving. She was working hospice care, delivering a man to the hospital who, during a car ride, lost it. When he lost it, he was snoring, and the acoustics were so loud, and here I was, scared, terrified in the back seat, with my earbuds in, listening to Helios, just trying to not hear the snoring that I could not unhear. And here he was, he lost his life in front of me. I didn't know this guy. But I wasn't unaffected. I watched a man whose salutations exchanged minutes short prior. I watched a man devolve, disintegrate into the dust of his faith in a sculptor. I watched a man whose snoring intensified as did the acoustics. I watched a man from the corner of my tramping eye, whose life fled and soul ascended, and I unleft. Absent of grief, turmoil, tears for one not known, so I mature or obtuse, there's no compassion present. Another figure cloned with a mask of stone? Yes, it were not I am of dust. That's kind of how that went. And then at the end I added, I flew too high, too close to Helios. My God, I tried, crashing buried in the moss. And then that one I'll skip over because I'm not going to sing that. The point of all this is, again, to show where this is coming from. A year later, I wrote this. I dug deep, inquiring why all the privilege, yet all the self-sabotage. Most of it rooted in fear of being perceived publicly, fear of death. To quote Idea, so I dove, the best thing I ever did was let go. There must be a destiny for someone like this, but what? And I bring this up, and again, it might come across as braggadocious, I'm just trying to bear everything out, and maybe I do it the wrong way. Please have compassion. Friends say it's rare how I can understand so many people, from homeless to CEO, to foreign tongue to mystical tongue, to frat bro, I was one of them, to oppressed minority, to white supremacist, to the earnest anarchist, to the DRR party simp, to Kanye, to Rick Rubin, to women who embody Kali energy, that to men, they freak people out, freak men out, or to incel men, and why they're there in their situation. I understand, and I'm actively helping some individuals specifically, compassionately over time. And to everyone who's scared, because I've been there. There is some innate understanding, but it's really just sincere curiosity and personal lived experience. Asking them questions to understand why they think the way they do. I actually spent my entire life doing so since I was 9. Kind of my full-time life endeavor, to understand myself, other people, God, and conspiracy. Both what is God? Why does it my early upbringing into the Christian church felt right, and yet I was surrounded by a bunch of hypocrites? That confused me. Why are there all these other religions, and how is it fair that Christianity is the only one, and the other people around the world who just simply don't get exposed to it, do they not go to heaven? What's that all about? That plagued me, and so I ran away from faith in God and whatever, and now the last couple of years I've been trying to, I think I got it. I'm certainly devoted. There are different paths. For me, it's bhakti yoga, and through that I committed to being vegan and only doing good and pursuing the desires that are in my heart, because I have no way of knowing if this is God or the devil, but I know it feels really good, and I know I want to do this. This is a deep yearning. And you hear there's no speech impediment. There's no hesitation. This is full embodiment of who I am after so many years of introspection. And I spent my entire life doing so. I wanted to understand myself, other people, God, and conspiracy. So my philosophy is, what is your underlying philosophy when you read? And just in general, in life, I always ask, what if everyone is trying to do the right thing in their frame? So what is their frame? This goes to Putin. This goes to Xi Jinping. This goes to Joe Biden and whoever writes the speeches and organizes him. This goes to Donald Trump. This goes to everyone. Netanyahu. What is their frame? Why do they believe this? Why does Hamas and Hezbollah believe the things they do? The Taliban. What are the Mexican drug cartels doing? What are the inner city American gangs doing? What is their frame? And I understand them because I empathize with them. I took time to understand even talked to some of them directly for the most part. No, I'd never talked to anyone in the Taliban, any of those organizations. I never talked to any world leaders, but I just simply have been observing my whole life, being perceptive. And also talking to people around me who support these individuals and these institutions. Why do you support them? What do you see? Why gravitates to you about them? And then also the people that are haters. Why do you hate them? What do you see there that disturbs you? And why does it disturb you? It takes a lot of time and energy. I'm not telling anyone to do it. This is just what I've innately loved to do my entire life. I just want to understand everything. And I remember when I was lower consciousness, I was stuck in projections and distortions. I would have thought my current feed was batshit insane, or simply been unable to comprehend a lot of it, which I remember, and I scale my speech to the audience in actual conversation. I adapt. Today I was a little unhinged. The last couple of weeks I've been a little unhinged, but it's not really unhinged. It's just misunderstood. And that's on the perceiver, not on me. But let's talk about it. It took some rest, and then it clarified that I'm still not effectively coherent. No one sees what I see here, and that's fine. I'm not here to tell people who I am. I'm letting time unfold who I am. I have a few mission statements, and one of them is my life will be the greatest love story I can possibly tell. And with that, I know it's late, but hear me out. You're the only one. Won't you follow me away tonight? That's for someone. Anyway. I wrote out, this thread contains the future I see. I wrote, it's just been coming at me a little bit here and there. Some of it is in my notes because I'm writing a treatise on civilization. And what I mean by that is just all my thoughts are compiling into this thing of like, this is what I see in the world. And I'm not going to like write it as like this is me, but I actually want to collaborate with people. I want the document itself to be open source, as well as the second document I'm working on. But that might be a summer thing. I definitely have more pressing things to take care of, namely the conversations like these, although it's a monologue, building Starscape, building Canopy, doing my work for the city, and helping build the next symposium, organize the next symposium in June or July. We're determining that. We had a meeting today. But anyway, yeah, I just go through and I'm like, hey, I see this as very possible. I know there's a lot for us to get there, but we can get there. And so I've been writing things like that. I've been compiling some of my like prose and my poetry. Like just for an example, like here's just poetry that's just been coming through me. For example, 100 browser tabs, a transient brainstorm, manic break aftermath, and aroma of petrichor. 100 empires rise and fall their temporal, let the tide subside, there's beauty in the ephemeral. 100 geniuses murdered in the name of Pisces, now is the dawn of the age of Aquarius. That one doesn't really rhyme as much, you get it. 100 tales of one man, okay, we're gonna skip that. 100 rulers of our planet unelected, ending 100 generations disconnected. Stagnant society smells swampy and miasma. Modern convenience side affecting us with asthma. Farmer foretelling fix, yet poisoning our plasma. Celestial children feeling lost in diaspora. Devil may care imprisoned in this daycare. Devil has heirs and careless billionaires. Devil laid bare no clothes which he wears. Devil's affairs printing money in his lair. 100 rulers of our planet unelected, ending 100 generations disconnected. Hard times beget great men, but we're dejected. Be the change you want to see, for we're infected. These are just things that just... Inspiration flows, a river to a lake. If in excess, a dam you can make. If in deficit, dig to raise the rate. Let the bad thoughts evaporate. In harmony, the universe awakes. In harmony, dreams you can create. And so... And I also had affirmations. Like, I did things like this. I release all regrets, all desires, all lusts, all greed. I have everything I need. I'm so unfairly privileged, gifted, loved. I truly believe I am all I want to achieve. How can I ask for more when billions need more help than me? What door do I unlock with this key? These thoughts have been ruminating all my life. And now what you see is kind of like lightning without thunder, beauty withholding pain. My dreams are feeling fulfilled. And these things, you know, what I'm clamoring is courage and cooperation. Convalesce and combine communities against the real enemies. which I don't think are individuals we need to go with a pitchfork and guns. It's all in here. You know, it seems like our souls are densified, incarnated for a purpose. It's a pivotal point in the timeline. It's on purpose. Your voice is an instrument in an orchestra. It's a necessary ingredient in our formula. Yeah, you know, I'm on a quest to see what's next. Mining, mithril, forging, chainmail. Man the ramparts, fire the catapults, defend this against the siege of my heart vault. I just riff. It's fun. Like, yeah, I've been through the rings of fire, the reigns of desire, the lightning-struck tower. My aim is higher, God's my lighter, acquire the power, make lizards cower. I don't think there are lizard people. This is just fun. Thank you. You know, I'm a post-rat posting with the post-rats, boom bat, blasting boastal raps, entrapped by traps and fancy hats, entrapment in postmodern sediment, embedded in sediment, grounded by financial firmament, affirm, stand firm, and furnish your furnace, slow burn and bellow as horse. Lavitz on the wind, Watson with the pen, Lancing with brother men, jousting devilish trends, Tiger's eye on the wrist, silver on the fist, Fatima waits for me in the oasis, my trinkets imbued with a fiery hue, seance with the muse in an emerald view. It's things like this. It's just fun. Like, I'm chiseling away the superfluous material. Michelangelo with the marble imaginable. Sculpting the clay from the beneath the gallows. Kurosemi creating worlds, casting oceanic shadows. I love to exercise. I will energize. New thoughts will arise. That's the kind of, like, you know, you remember those days when you felt insane? When you cleared the rain and released the pain? Love is an energy you can tap into heartfully. Creativity is an energy you tap into mindfully. Money is an energy you tap into physically. I wrote this when I was getting over my money blocks. I'm like, oh, it's just an energy. I can use it. You can't just get it, though, because you're so spiritual and you deserve it. You have to actually engage with the real world. It's a physical energy. You need to acquire it through physical means. Just don't make that your whole mission. You know, modern man's too attached, afraid of lack, and lacking in honor, great and tact. All things change and decay, why live in dismay? Become useful and inspiring, courageous and daring. Modern masculinity can be non-toxic and admiring, bold, strong, and gentle, classy, witty, and charming. You know, listen to the crackling flame, crack jokes, sing notes, listen to the singing flame. Now I love life and I've learned to sing, found my true will in the Tao Te Ching. Probably didn't pronounce that right. I wish I could repackage and explain the thing. The path to peace and loves through transcending suffering. And this is what this stream has been about. The suffering of conspiracy, of schizophrenia, of psychotic breaks, and I still haven't gotten to, you know, the Gen Z social decline. Because again, the quarantine really fucked them up. But it wasn't just that, but it exacerbated it. There's nothing like it. Combined with the insane internet and video game use, and the disembodied avatars, the constant commodification of culture, the weaponized attention algorithms, the social engineering at the cusp of one of the greatest culture wars, as well as literal physical war, people threatening to kill each other, even candidates of the United States of America, let alone the active deaths that have been happening since October 7th of 2023, or February 22nd, 2022, or so many conflicts. Can we just chill? Can we relax? And so, to bring it here, step through my morning tweets. So, was I even done? I don't know if I was done with that. So, yes. I talked about how I acknowledged my privilege. I talked about me making the music. I talked about these things and like, oh, what is a destiny for someone like this? And I had to constantly battle delusions of grandeur because it seems like, wow, if I think about everything, then I should be ruler of the world. No, don't want power. I don't want to do it. I'm having fun with music and building things. I'm willing, because I consider myself dead in my life's in service to humanity. If you wish to elevate me, cool. If you don't, cool. Again, not about power. It's not about me. Change my name. I don't want a legacy. I don't want money. Only thing I need money for is food and transportation. Everything else I'm investing into my businesses. I'm giving back to the people that have helped me get here. I'm going to donate to charities, and we're going to build awesome things. It's going to be great. We just need to come together and understand where we're coming from. I am not preaching and justice warring to motivate you specifically. At least the people that are reading my tweets thus far. You know, I think we're all doing pretty amazing, at least in this part of Twitter. being courageous and loving fiercely in our own ways. But for me, no matter how far I've tried to run from this, it seems like I must get involved. Yeah, if you look through this, you can see my thought process. You can see how fast my mind works. I'm typing, I'm organizing very quickly. Not a brag, not a humble brag. But at the end, I watched A$AP Rocky's How Many Problems Get Solved If We Don't Get Involved. And this is what's tricky about being on here and tweeting and making, you know, these streams and tweeting the things that I am, is a lot of these people that are following me or were just following me don't want to be preached at. They don't want to, and for good reasons. They don't want to see the negativity in the world. We're all trying to focus actively on positivity and love. And I was doing that. I kind of had my Eckhart Tolle sitting on the park bench moment for the last 3 years. But again, no matter how far I ran, it seems like I must get involved. Hope I'm making a good case. I'm not insane. I don't have any imperial ambitions. I'm burying my entire life out in every single detail because I just want to help. So, you know, I type quickly, etc. Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm finally feeling okay to express myself. But this isn't about me. I have to reach people where they are. How many problems get solved if we don't get involved? Okay, that's not exactly how it went. It's up to you, not to the people that currently follow me. Not that they need to do anything more than they already are. Not that you need to do anything than you already are. This is me and my war, and I love it. It doesn't feel like a war. It feels like a video game. I feel like I'm destined to win. I don't know. It's kind of delusional, but like, I'm so happy. If I die right now, it's okay. It's all right. And I'm just gonna keep building. So yeah, I brought this tweet up again. Gen Z social skills are fucked. And this, among virtually everything else in the world, drives me passionately. It's for me to do, not for you to understand. I am determined to help solve cognitive and civilizational issues. I don't care if other people are doing enough. These are hard problems. You do you, but this is my zone of genius. This is my zone. This is my court. I love this. Let's talk about it. Don't tell people who you are, let time unfold who you are, and time will tell who I am. No prophecy, nothing. I'm Bruce Dean Robinson, that's it. Loving this. I can tell, little transcendent. I'm still many days from all of this taking effective form. I'm also pretty sure this account is hindered in the algorithm, which is my fault because of just the way that I delete tweets and engage and whatever. I saw how the algorithm works. Yeah, mine is pretty down. But that's cool, because this is giving me the opportunity to refine and refine and refine. And I will every single day for the rest of my life. I don't care. I will be remixing these ideas and more into algorithm-friendly bits, probably on another account. Maybe like the Lavitz Love account, when the time is right. You know, I'm still, patience. And then I discovered I had the wrong microphone on. Hopefully the right one is being used. I don't really feel like going back and watching my videos, but I do have to upload them. Are you afraid of aliens, bro? Are you afraid of anything? The only thing I'm afraid of is God's judgment for not embodying love and pursuing what I feel compelled to do, trusting that everything will work out. People are teetering on the edge of a psychotic break. Worrisome, sure. How do we stop it? Not to say that but I'm just trying to ask questions. Can we talk about it? And in fact, this is my containment, where I'm just thinking about things and I'm asking questions. I have no qualified opinion. I'm just a guy who values love and truth. And I'm literally just asking questions. Well, the recent ones, no. But how is this disagreeable? What if, thinking about. I'm just thinking. I'm not trying to assert that I know anything. Just thinking about it. Can we please have conversations? Not anyone listening specifically. That's just where I'm going. And then today I saw this. Zuck started raising cattle at a ranch on Kauai. And his goal is to create some of the highest quality beef in the world. He's doing all these things for beef. But someone's like, well, that's probably why the metaverse failed so badly. Or is failing. It's just not really taking off. No one really believes in the vision. Because he's not someone who wants to live in the metaverse. He wants to live on a ranch under the stars, which is beautiful. I would love that, but I have some work to do. He thought it was the future, but not for him, and you can't really build crazy advanced new consumer products that way. And yes, I will make this about me. It is true and real. Your heart's gotta be in it. You gotta understand the people. You gotta champion their best interests. You gotta be one of them to understand them and their needs. And my Canopy idea, which is a platform that will integrate all platforms and no ads, it's literally the perfect dream you've been waiting for, because I believe in it strongly, in all the principles and values of I can't take money with me to the grave. I don't care about having women and cars and status and power and these sorts of things. I just want us to be connected. I don't know how else to connect with people. Me doing these speeches are only going to reach so many people. I'm saying way too many words too quickly. And let alone that, there are some people who will see me as a white male and literally not tune in and just think I'm crazy and full of shit. We're really at that point in society. It's pretty wild. And so I quote tweeted my own thing and I said Starscape and Canopy soon, TM. And this isn't me talking about it, just talking about it. I'm going to walk the walk. But anyway, it's not about ego. And then, yeah, I was like, can we please talk about it? I'm on the way. This is me being cheeky. It's a little bit of my shadow. This is an image I took 2 years ago, or a year ago. So it's me being cheeky. If you understand complexity and dynamism, I come in peace. This is just me having fun. This is me having fun. Man is a star bound to a body, until in the end he is freed through his strife. Per aspera ad astra. Me, kind of like in the little Gemini pillar here, because I'm Gemini ascendant and I just can process all these ideas and talk about great many things. This was kind of cool. Shout out my best friend for the photo cred. We also have videos and other things here. That's fun to play with. This, I set up on the ground and hit 10-second record, and I did this. You know, it's kind of cool. And this isn't ego inflation. This is like, I need to reach people where they are. And that was kind of part of another thing I wrote yesterday. And so, to conclude, an hour and 37 minutes, the healing journey can have some of the most unbelievable breakthroughs and happy moments, and can be painful, triggering, and nerve-wracking. Once you decide to treasure the baby steps, you can become free of the expectation to be perfect. The intention matters more than the perfection. Also, you'll never get perfection. Just not gonna happen. So, with that, I jumped in to an old Discord and I was like, hey, here's this thread I just wrote. And I got some pushback. This individual, who is much older than us, much older than I, doesn't understand the psychic warfare that my generation and Gen Z, you know, I'm 1994, December, kind of cusp, resonate very much with millennial and 90s culture. I grew up on the internet since 2000, through video games and through Newgrounds and all these other sites, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't understand, and that's okay. I should have been a little more compassionate, but he's someone who always likes to be a little, antagonistic, and so we call him the old man of the server, and I said, okay, old man, but thanks for giving me the perspective that some people are so emotionally repressed and cognitively devoid. You know, he screenshotted just the top bit and didn't screenshot this, and I said, I don't know who hurt you, but I love you. Because seriously, I get it, I don't fully get it, but I want to get it, and I want to help, but it's not for me to save anyone. And then I just came up with this. Do you understand that actions and emotions aren't always logical, but there's always a reason for them? Do you understand that everyone carries pain, but only few actually face it? Do you understand that you could too? I'm here for you if you want it, but again, it's not on me to save anyone. Definitely not for money. I just want to inspire and help point you in the right direction, which, if you see in other threads, I'm actively linking out to all these amazing people that have helped me, and I want you to go to them. Whether it's therapists, astrologers, whatever, Buddhists, amazing people. Find the thing that works for you. The book Introspect by Visa Khan, V. Amazing. Would highly recommend it. Probably my #1 recommendation. Another individual, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, talking about the power of now, and your future self is, your future self now. Your future self, if you imagine that person, you take some time. Who do I want to be? But But not just who do I want to be, like what is aligned with my heart and soul, and what do I truly want to do? What do I yearn for? And what does that future person kind of look like? If you align yourself with that over years, painstakingly, if you want to do little affirmations, read them in the morning, in the middle of the day, and at night, that helps too. What is it, like the 3-5-7 rule or whatever? 3-6-9 rule? Anyway. And this is this is what I have to deal with, and it's cool. I love this. So this started 11 a.m. and it went until 8 p.m. Just me coming out of nowhere, and I did this years ago, and I was very unstable, not really making sense. Now I'm doing it again. I didn't realize, oh, this is how I'm being perceived, but throughout the day we talked about it, and I'm not going to show the whole DM, but I screenshotted specific ones. Because of the way that, like, I tweet, like this and this, he was like, why are you talking to yourself? We joke a lot in here and rip on each other, but now I actually think you belong on an FBI list. It's not even funny anymore. Throughout the day, he actually started to see where I was coming from. Said, I'm inspired by this guy and many others, hundreds who I met at Vibe Camp in Maryland last June, all incredibly intelligent and empathetic people who are doing amazing things, and I'm here to help share their work and messages, and try to bring people like you back from such ridiculous extremes. Not a savior complex, just like, I don't want people to be extreme, okay? I write a lot. It's not a whole lot on here. It's woefully, I need to update it, and I will. Probably after this. I'm going to stop the stream, start a new one, and just vibe and listen to music and start to, like, do these things. And yeah, so yesterday and today I started reaching out to other friends and servers that I've been into, but not really active much recently. There's a lot of just, hey, thanks for helping inspire me, and I kind of want to give back in a way. Here I said, grateful for everyone who has inspired me directly or indirectly in the server. Thank you, Elian, for cultivating this beautiful social garden. In the last 2 weeks, I wrote several hundred tweets and compiled much of my essays and poems and songs and vision for the future, and I bared my heart out so that I could be completely transparent. Open source, I like to call it. You can find that stuff under my pinned tweet. I'm sharing as both leaning into being brave and giving back in a way that maybe inspires some the way I was inspired. And wanting to connect with people who truly want to help save the world, collectively. A better word to use here is collaboratively. I don't like collectivism exactly. Collaboratively, through a frame of love and faith, I truly believe the world is going to be a better place. And I was like, hey, his book Introspect might be helpful for you. And then I had a moment, I was like, he's a different generation. It might not apply. It may. Can't speak for that. I was like, yeah, maybe, and this was a little catty, maybe you were privileged to not grow up in such psychic warfare like my generation has. And I hope if you watch the whole stream, where I step through my music and first step through this little thing that I wrote beforehand, that maybe you can start to see where I'm coming from. Not that you need to. And I truly hope that you know and love God before the incoming chaos. And it doesn't have to be God in any sort of way that has been, like, forced down your throat. Just the principles of love and hope and unity, and us, like, wanting to make, to bring heaven on earth. I can't speak if heaven and hell exist in the afterlife. I can't speak if reincarnation is real. Things are pretty weird. And lately I've stopped thinking about them. Right now all I know is I'm right here sitting in this chair for far too long. I need to stretch. Giving this emphatic, passionate speech that, like, I'm quite proud that it's unfolded how it is. My throat hurts. I need to stop talking. But things are going to only keep getting worse before they get better, and they will get better. I believe we're close to it. The darker, I don't know, what's it, like, the darker things get, the more capable of light we can, like, cultivate, we can ascend. I don't know. Like, however you want to frame it, reality is what you make it to be. It's how you frame. It's you align yourself with love. You probably tune out the news if you can't actively do anything about it. 99% of people, if anyone manages to watch this, cannot do anything about the Israel-Palestine conflict, except maybe donate some money, except maybe help people in their local community stop being so extreme against one side or the other, and, like, build compassion in your own community. That might not help them over there, but it's definitely going to help us here. And then maybe someone in your community then gets inspired like me to maybe start speaking out. And maybe that leads them on a cool trajectory that they actually do get involved. If we work together and we understand we're like little bees in the beehive, except we have our own little unique talents and gifts. Some people are good at organizational leadership. Some are amazing artists that inspire others to do great work. Yada, yada, yada. Some have an inclination toward hospice and medicine. That's one thing I definitely I'm not interested in. Body is weird, grosses me out, but like, I love it. Point is, we need to work together. And just, I know it's hard. There's a lot of people out there that are just full of hate. There's a lot of scary things on the news. Choose love. I'm doing this because I love everyone, and hope they choose a better reality than the one they're manifesting with terrible habits. You need to be clear in yourself to survive. And then, yeah, I even dropped this, which I've now shown 5 times, to try to be like, hey, the social skills of Gen Z are fucked. And then I was, I was kind of pleading, and then I realized I can't really do anything about it. But I was like, if you sign into X, which I think that was a bad move on Elon's part, let everyone be able to see all the tweets. If you could read this on me overcoming material and sensual addictions, and you read this on this thread on the future I see, which now I realize is not effective. They're gonna look at it and be like, okay, I agree with that, but like, where are you going with this, bro? Yeah, that wasn't the move. But imagine if adults asked before assuming. Instead of calling me crazy and thinking I should be on an FBI watch list. Let's have compassion and talk. And I linked the stream I did, and I started linking a whole bunch of stuff. And okay, the point is, these are very big issues, very deep topics, very hard problems. And I'm going to just keep writing about it, speaking about it, and trying to help realize from my personal point of view, I've expressed through my poems and music and all of this, and so much more to come. Things are going to be okay. Things might get a little chaotic, a little worse, before they get better. Can we please talk about it? Thank you. I love you.